So guys, we have a new project in the shop, and it's going to be a fairly long one, so there's going to be several videos on this, but I want to take you around and kind of show you what we have here. All right, so what we have here is a 67 Corvette, and as you can see, it was originally Marina blue, and that's what we're going to go back to, but somebody slapped some brown on it, slapped some not so well done flames on it, and then decided that that doesn't look good, so they tried to take it back to the factory, and they did some scraping, it looks like, through here, which that's a common way to remove this, is just to kind of heat it and scrape it. And then you can tell up here that they've used some strippers, and it's just kind of all gummed up. It just doesn't look good. So we're gonna have to straighten out quite a bit of fiberglass. I've seen a couple rough spots up here, like on the fenders. So we're probably gonna have to build that back out and get rid of all these little cracks that are going on around here. So, and unfortunately, there's not really any easy way to see all the cracks that are actually there until we get, you know, one uniform color going on, because there's just so much going on that you just can't really tell. Another thing that was done was the turn signal lights were originally out here, and they've moved them in to the grill, and they've just kind of smoothed out this side. We're going to reverse that, and there's a panel that the customers provided to move the turn signal back out to where it's supposed to be. Here's that panel I'm talking about. Basically, we're gonna have to cut that back out and just kind of fiberglass this in on both sides, because they've done it to both sides. Really, at first glance though, all the body lines are good. It's a really solid car. So there's a lot of potential here. The only other thing that I was seeing is this door lines up pretty good. Everything looks good on this side. And then if you come over here on this side of the car and look at this door, it appears that it's sitting low because this sits up higher. But then when you come down here, this body line right here looks halfway decent. I mean, it needs to come up a little bit, but not that much. So we're gonna have to figure out what's going on here. It looks like either they've made this body line or something's going on, or maybe this just needs to be brought down. I don't know, but something weird is going on to cause this much of a difference right here. So we'll get that addressed too. So everything else on the car is honestly pretty operational. I don't see anything that's real concerning. It's actually a real nice vehicle. Just needs some help on the outside. So I'm gonna take you around the back side here. All right, so on around to the back side, we have every piece that we need back here, which is awesome. That's the thing about this car, is that everything's here. It's all complete. There are some things like some weather stripping that we're gonna have to replace, but once this thing is painted, it's going to give this the look that it needs, because it runs great, drives great, looks bad. So basically we're starting with a tear down, and we're probably going to discover more cracks and stuff, which that's totally normal, because I mean, you don't have x-ray vision, you can't see through panels. So we're just gonna start taking parts off and see kind of what we're left with. All right, we're gonna get the car lifted up here. One thing I was also surprised about was how solid the underside of the car was. So, and again, these are all fiberglass, so you're not gonna have the rot that we usually deal with on this channel, but we're gonna get the car lifted up and start taking some parts off. All right guys, so I wanted to give you a good shot underneath this too. Let's get a light here. But everything's solid. There's your surface rust and stuff, but it's set in a garage or barn forever. And recently it was purchased by the customer, and he said now that everything is running around good and he's been driving around for a while, he wants it to look good. So that's what we're gonna do. We're definitely getting rid of those flames, I promise you that. One thing I learned pretty quickly is that all this stuff is kind of just by feel. Like you don't really know what you're looking at. So I just had to reach my hand up in here, and then I had to get one of the lights off so that I could get the other light off. And that's how we're gonna do this. So I don't know. I mean, the easiest way is probably if the gas tank was removed, but the gas tank is brand new. And I'm not gonna remove that. So just going to slice up my arms and try to get this from the back side. So, and I don't have the smallest hands either, so we have one more right here. Another thing is invest in these little short stubby wrenches. These are a lifesaver when you're doing stuff like this, especially if you're not able to get a socket up in there. Then it's so much easier just to have a wrench rather than having a stubby wrench versus a longer wrench that you're trying to fit in there, because there's so many more ways that you can work those stubby wrenches than a normal sized wrench. But for this far left one here, we're gonna have to use a smaller socket with a 1/4 inch. Really, it's all about finding the right tool for the job. So I have a 1/4 inch ratchet, and it has a little swivel on it. So this is going to fit up in here very easily, I'm hoping. And then we will then be able to have so much more room once I get my hand in there. Just got to find the right. Oh yeah, there he is. Come on out there. Ooh. Oh. Okay, ouch. Whew. Just that easy. All right, guys, so another thing that I want you guys to be aware of is make sure you have a tetanus shot, because there are so many tight spaces on these cars that you could slice your hand, trust me. But one of them is trying to get all the stuff off the door. So I'm gonna show you on the other side what I do to get the stuff off the doors. All right, so you have a window crank like removal tool. There's a specific tool for that. Normally they're metal. And the problem with that is, like, sometimes if somebody's got a nice door card like we have right here, sometimes it can, you know, you're fiddling around with that and it can actually rip the interior. So you don't want to do that. We're going to keep these. So what I like to do is use plastic tools where I can to kind of just create some space. So if I stick these down in there like this, then I know these plastic things aren't going to hurt anything. That's not going to scratch that at all. So I know that if I stick these down in here and just kind of pry, then I can kind of look and see where the clip is. This stuff here, this just twists off like that. There are 2 Phillips screws right here. You're just going to back those out. And they're going to be squeaky and rusty. That's just the way it is. So there's one. Here's the second one on the bottom, and then your handle comes off. There's 2 more screws down here underneath the armrest. 1, 2, maybe. All right, there's one right here. And then as far as the front of the panel goes, that's all the Phillips screws. But then there's these little L brackets that come across the side, and they secure the panel on like that. So down here's one. You can just kind of feel along down through here. There's another one. And then there's another one right here on the bottom. Then follow your hand up around. There's one more back here. And then I think one last one right here. So now the only thing holding the panel on now is just these little cranks here and the door lock. And on the back of them, there's a little Omega clip. And you just kind of have to work a pick in there or something and get them out. I personally like to use a pick, so I'm going to show you kind of how I do it. There's no good way to give you a really close shot of this, so I'm just going to try to pop one of these off real quick and show you how it works. All right, so I'm behind the little clip, and basically you're just going to take the pick and dig it in there. That shot way over there. I'm going to go try to find where that landed at. All right, guys, so here's how the Omega clips work, okay? So the clip comes in here from the side, and it's easy to just press these over because the stud part has like a 45-degree chamfer on it. So all you're trying to do with the pick is get the pick up underneath this, like that, and then you have something to pry against, and then it's just going to pull this Omega clip out like that. It's super easy. It's just a matter of getting the door card back far enough to where you can grab onto the clip and actually seeing the clip. But as you can see here, there's no damage to the door or the washer behind the door. It's a little plastic piece that kind of protects the door card. So no damage to anything. We're gonna go on and get the other two and we'll move on from there. All right, so for now we have everything pretty much stripped down as far as we're gonna go. The back bumpers are gonna go to a chrome shop. Those are gonna get taken care of. There's a little bit of a split in one of them, so those are gonna get welded up, dipped, and they're gonna look awesome whenever they come back. The customer typically runs around without the top on it, so that's why it was brought in like this. But whenever we shoot it, we're gonna put the top back on because he does have the top, it's sitting over here. But we're going to paint the entire car, the top included. That way, if he wants to throw the top back on for a rainy day or whatever, I doubt he'll be driving this in the rain, but yeah, he can. Really though, everything that I'm seeing as I'm taking this car apart all looks really good. It's a very good candidate for a full paint job after we get some fiberglass repairs going. But all right guys, so there's gonna be a ton of videos on this car. It's gonna go from what you're seeing in this video right now all the way until final assembly in these videos. So I'm going to try to throw in some educational stuff in there as well as far as fiberglass work goes. All right guys, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, help me grow the channel, share these awesome projects with everybody. Let me know what you think about the car down in the comments. In the next video you're going to see of this car, we're going to start all the sanding. So make sure you guys stay tuned and I'll catch you guys in the next video.